Welcome again. I am Robert Stern Price from Lawrence City, Missouri, and I am building the future's functions public and private starship industry. Uh, in today's video, I'm going to get right to the point, is that I got to build a starship industry in the midst of unfathomable amount of operators and little idiots in government, high command, and in other places, an endless amount of spies. Got endless amount of spies. None of these groups are willing to contribute to the benefit of humanity itself. It's like I'm the sole person on Earth getting a starship industry big enough to be made on planet Earth to procure a miniaturized starship, basically 4 times the size of an F-150 pickup truck. Now, I've been trying, since I can't not use software, I just use my phone. I've been trying to get pictures of the Fafnir or a Dragonet light attack vehicle that has been seen on some videos of Project Coelacanth, some videos. But you realize that the CIA is literally having 100 programs per computer in every computer on Earth and controlling them, and I cannot seem to get anything actually to work on the computer. They limit my capabilities, and they totally deprive me of the main RIP-based supercomputer's AI automatically programming capability. An access point to my own RIP-based supercomputer. That was a $12 million supercomputer that's supposed to have been replicated by the government. And this is what is the precursor to all the big nations, big gigantic supercomputers. But they didn't have that idea on how to program a supercomputer that can operate to the trillion-th scale of subatomic particle, basically a RIP-based supercomputer. Now, a RIP-based supercomputer is not a quantum computer. It goes to the trillionth scale of the subatomic particle. A quantum computer is just trying to use atomic elements more better. So we have already went way past that standard that the standard scientific community is actually doing. And going off on a tangent here, that when you understand a particle, a ball, and it's just basically a structured singularity. If this particle goes back into a black hole, it just reverts back to non-polar matter. It gets destroyed, and the black hole pushes out that non-polar matter. As somehow, I'm the person that got Hawking to think about black hole radiation, and they called it Hawking radiation. I'm the man behind string theory as well, which is entirely mostly wrong. But until you kind of link it to force and structure in non-powerful matter, it doesn't really hold up to anything, really. So string theory is directly from Rob through the CIA. Now, the overwhelming reality is that there is non-polar matter, and that is being called the base world matter. The base world matter can be an exponential affinity of densities and lightnesses, heavies, from ultralight to extremely heavy in the atmosphere. So when you have basically a space fabric microchip, you're basically supercycling forces through the space world matter around the atoms to get this supercomputer, super transit this material in and out. And that's basically a microchip that can easily replace the size and scale of a data center. One single little bitty microchip would be able to outdo that entire data center. So basically, when you densify the base world matter, and then the forces go through that little bit of space fabric, hundreds and trillions of times the speed of light, to that little area. You bring the space fabric down, you densify it to several thousand trillion times, whatever it takes, and that's basically how a starship engine operates, or any single component operates. That's how extraterrestrial vehicles go from point A to point B faster than light with ease. And you understand the base world matter. The base world matter carries the force carries the force, and the forces rip off a blob of another blob and basically make the photon. Basically, that's what a photon is. It's a blob of non-form matter. And these guys testing atoms through their tests, how they kind of make a wave-like pattern, how they kind of make different observations are getting different results. It's just because up close the base world matter is doing a dynamic, and far away it's doing a different dynamic, because you're seeing through a medium of non-particle matter, the base world matter. There are still structured particles, there's still affinity of particles, densities, and blobs, as well as voids as well in all this medium. So it's extremely hard to energize and computer structure an environment without a real computer that's really cranking it out automatically. So anyway, one story is that this spy network exists, the Base Rabbit Gold spy network exists, the CIA and the government operate a spy network that can spy on everybody to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle. Alright, this is 6 minutes in. And so I seen J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, and I believe a commander of the High Command, an actual what's being based off of, and the High Command is actually a group of people that are supposed to be protecting Earth with ships out there in space, and they're doing their job and stuff. And this guy, this guy's in the midst of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, and he tells them, something detrimental to the American people. I caught just half the conversation. I'll just give him a little bit of leeway. I caught half of the conversation. It just came into my mind through this damn spinner. And then I just butt in and tell you how it's actually going to be. Because the American people are not going to be destroyed by the games that they're playing. I'm not going to allow that. The government already died in mind control. The money's already worth this. And I'm just holding the goddamn world together. The entire fucking world. And stating, we're going to go and do the right thing for the benefit of mankind. What we're going to do is build the miniaturized starship. Right? Build an IPO, build a miniaturized starship, and give that to people for literally free. But we're creating universe-wide equality, right? This vehicle does not necessarily make the governments and principalities of space that need to be instituted, but it creates universe-wide equality. The government, with hindsight, the governments of Earth cannot create equality, but the people can. With this miniaturized starship, they make equality from the races of beings in and out of outer space. We use this miniaturized starship to make us stronger and equal to the extraterrestrials. Then people go to outer space and they colonize, and then they form governments that are representative governments, not dictators, not slaveholders, not any form of detrimental governing body to the population at large. And then they make the real law. They vote on the real law through a representative form of government, kind of like the United States Congress. It might be an American state, I don't know, in the future. But this is what we're going to do. This whole strategy that the High Command, J.D. Vance, and Trump were mind-boggling is basically reverse psychology, where they constantly oppress the American people and try to get them to rise up. But they've literally destroyed the economy. They literally annihilated the American people by running the government incorrectly. And they're trying to expect that people rise up and and something good comes about it, like an explosion or something. Like, how could that possibly happen? Well, that could possibly happen, but that's not the good point. It's that we have to have ideas by the many and not by the few. So this whole triumvirate of like 3 people talking that I just ruined. I yelled at him. If I had a prescient connection through the main PlayStation supercomputer where I could stand in virtual reality in their room like a hologram walking around, I would have cussed them out so severely that I would have literally found the mental structures in their freaking brain in tenths of a second, and I would have broke them. I would have broke Donald Trump. I would have broke J.D. Vance and that freaking high commander. I would have fucking literally tried to kick him. Probably would. Now I'm just saying, you can't do that yet now. But, but the space fabric is so cool. I mean, you can jump in on a conversation that they're having, being detrimental to the American public. It's kind of amazing. But the United States government has died. The money's worthless. The CIA implanted everybody on Earth. You cannot have a government on mind control, and you definitely cannot allow a government to be improperly ran by people that are willing to destroy the American people. They're intentionally doing that behind the scenes. And J.D. Vance has seen many pictures of extraterrestrials, and they brought a few to him, a few alive ones, but he has no idea of the high command structure, the spy network. So apparently, this high command somehow gets the stories out of these extraterrestrial operators, and they go into books. And somehow the operators possibly get kickback, or somehow they get financial support by that. But since we figured this out, the public of the world is going to have to make some kind of IPO or something that makes a profit, so the nations of the world won't go into debt because we're way too far in debt, and somehow fund these people that are currently protecting Earth without turning them into something like the Osama bin Laden. But I know everything about 9/11. And we got to watch out. These are still really good people, really good operators that have the best interests of humanity's security out in space. I've asked over and over for maps and locations, but the only thing I can get is the sci-fi books, and the superheroes got to digest them and correlate the information and stuff. So they won't. It's more like they're trying to set me up to build the Star Trek universe or Star Trek Enterprise, where they won't really technically expose everything. You have to go out there and explore after you build the USS Enterprise and stuff. So it's kind of self-concealing and self-revealing and stuff. And I've been trying to... Did I already say that? I've been trying to get the Dragonet light attack vessel from the videos of Project Coelacanth in a video, but I cannot use the software. I cannot not do that. I just use my phone. But it's on Project Coelacanth. I might have just said that and forgot. My mind skipped so fast. Anyway, that's one thing. And I've seen another vehicle. I thought it was the Fafnir just going in reverse, but it's actually a different vehicle. It's in Project Coelacanth. These vehicles in Project Coelacanth are still highly cloaked and operating today. I don't know who flies them, what flies them. I don't know if it's a Hyperion android or Keep Staying Alive. I don't really know. But that one looks like it flies backwards compared to the other Dragonet vehicles. So they're different, but I mean they've all been made by their own people, and they fly around and stuff. And they're just highly cloaked. You can't already see them. If you could just rip apart the space fabric, see one Van's ship, Backyard Starship Van ship, Van Tudor, sometimes flies over. You will see with the ripped space fabric islands, I'll see a rectangle, that black rectangle, just a millionth of a second, and then I can't see it. It's totally gone. Now, when I was watching Osceola's fireworks, and I looked up to the sky, and I seen a totally different vehicle, and I believe that was a high command shuttle, which I don't know if it has weapons on it or not. So I'd call that an attack shuttle. It's kind of like the things off of Stargate Universe. It has a big fin in back. It just kind of square, kind of like that, and it has a big fin on the back. And it kind of just parks at an angle, like its weapon systems are just pointing at the ground, just kind of, And it's pretty incredible that they can operate a vehicle with total anonymity in Earth's atmosphere, and our government, CIA, military, and they're picking up this intelligence that I'm they can't even imagine the shit that's up in the sky. I mean, a lot of times when you have a clear open sky and you don't see any planes, there's usually a starship that the government is well aware about, and they clear out the air traffic. So the air traffic is totally removed from the situation, and they have like a spy plane orbiting this area trying to look for an invisible visible starship. That's a dead giveaway. When you see a nice, beautiful sky and there's no planes, there's got to be a starship or something that they redirected all the air traffic away. When you have this many millions of planes flying every day, and they have something invisible, and this makes a major disconnect. None of these space vehicles use a transponder. They get detected by radio waves or something that the government has, and they're not accountable to any principality or person in the public, and they're not. Even this military high command, they may do something so evil and so hideous out in space, and they're not held accountable by the public. This is what has to change. That we have to be able to hold these people accountable if they do tremendous war crimes in outer space. We can't build a universe off a constant barbaric evil, all right? So what the miniaturized starship does is create universe-wide equality. Not by the government, but by the individual people just having this miniaturized starship. And the subatomic revolution, Robert Stern Price, an exponential subatomic revolution, literally builds more starships for that alien population so that they can be equal. And guess what? The nations of Earth, the foreign extraterrestrial nations of outer space, we depower them and create a more appropriate environment for the civilian community at large. The government is just another despicable dung heap that allows for understanding evil. The baby boomers are dying. The revolution's about to begin. They've stopped this whole time and tried to destroy everything. They either try to they try to milk like the public for money when we should literally create like an IPO or something that actually funds them more appropriately. See, I'd like to take my starship industry, get the human Earth-made starships made, fly it out to their stations, and supply them with goods and services, with food. If we can fly into Jupiter and get air and water like some of those big ships can, and then we do that for them, we could take it over and just make business. Basically, a capitalist. They'll have to pay for some of those meals and stuff. And I'm just basically straight up being 100% capitalist times a zillion. The entire universe. Even we make our own hard mass levitating drones. See, and they supply the air and water and take off the sewage and process it or whatever back and forth to planet Earth to stations. What the subatomic revolution is going to do, we're going to build a miniaturized starship for free to the public, but we're going to sell the major assets. We'll build a space elevator, maybe $10,000 a trip up to space. We start constructing belts around planet Earth, space stations, starships, so we get the manufacturing of the world going to outer space, and then we got to create mining vessels, take in ore, process it. Basically, a free market smorgasbord out there. And that's basically what we'll be doing. We'll be doing just nothing but capitalism. Capitalism is the only way to win a universe-wide war. Capitalism. It's the only way to get people strong enough, rich enough, to actually be knowledgeable enough to benefit themselves, to benefit other people, to create structures of society so strong that they can't be ignored or annihilated. Capitalism will make shield generators. If there's an adversary, he's got computer structured space fabric weapons coming at you. Well, this city has computer structured space fabric security systems, so that energy weapon will not fire or work. Just like our current level of projectile ammunition. That bullet cannot fly through. That bullet cannot fly through computer structured space fabric. This is what starts the War of Ezekiel, the wrath of God upon the Japhetic nations of the world. When computer structured space fabric comes and they cry peace and safety, and Arabs, the Japhetic Arabs or whoever they are, the nations of the world come against the nation of Israel, and God smacks them with rocks and stone and destroys them all. And it's still not over. It's still, the Bible has to be fulfilled. God's going to kill them all. And we know how. So we know that's going to happen in the future. It will eventually take over the universe. And we have to build the miniaturized starship first to create the Christian Sea people, right? That's my sole agenda, is to get the miniaturized starship in production to 100 to 300 million vehicles a day, 4 times the size of an F-150. I gotta have computer structure space fabric steel. I gotta have hard mass LEDs. I gotta have computer structure space fabric hard mass exfoliation out of the metal, create the shield projection. I gotta have hard mass computer structure space fabric internal of the hull, internal computer structure space fabric inside of the hull, so you don't get turned and messed up. We got it all, but we got to do a lot of sciencey stuff at space travel to make sure our vehicles are better and top notch than the rest of the universe. And we're going to keep the world together and strong as possible, stronger than it has ever been before, in basically taking care of its fellow man, humanity. We're going to probably start out doing an American colonization effort. So we will have the right to bear arms, the right to free speech, to go out there, and the right to make businesses and opportunities. And we will probably have to force the United States Congress, possibly after the baby boomers all die, the people, the hypocrites, get out of the way, to start an American colonization effort, because they would rather sit silent and not support this at all, because they're inwardly freaking evil beyond comprehension. But then you get them on the spotlight and they'll do the best thing they possibly can for the American people, blah 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 blah, and they're not even close to fixing the problems of this country. And so we'll never trust the government. We're going to do. The Constitution is written by American people. I mean, the founders first. It's limitations on the government. I know that. But I mean, they don't always obey it. They do not. They literally wreck it and violate. The CIA mass-produced this fat-brained spy people in the States Army, gave the RIP-based fantastic spy gear to the CIA, an uncontrollable government organization that has never been controlled, or understood by the government to this very day. And they gassed and implanted every single human on Earth with 100% lethal RIP-based plastic spy gear, destroyed every government on Earth. Every military on Earth can fall to the floor in a single trillion second. And every person. And this is what we're freeing people from. But we're still going to take the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and basically take that part to other Earth-like worlds and guarantee the right to due process, the right to voting rights, all that stuff, free speech, and the right to bear arms. When we start the subatomic revolution, do we limit to nations that allow us to bear arms, allow us to have free speech? We might have to. That we have a total Americanization of an exponential subatomic revolution. And that's a main stickler, that we got to filter out the nations of the earth. And what we're doing is waning your power structure down with freeing your citizens to an American colonization effort to create more free people, more strong, powerful people. The subatomic revolution will give you a miniaturized starship and a hard mass particle reactor to take to outer space to find a new home among the stars, even the stars in other galaxies. You fly 100 trillion times the speed of light, go to 5 galaxies away, so be it. You're on your own, though. You come back and get provision, that's fine. You find a new Earth-like world that's not too far away, I'm pretty sure that Americans going to capitalize on it. Americans are going to land on it and claim it and start settling it. No one's there to stop them and say, hey. So we tried over and over to get information on planets and where we can go colonize at and spread humanity, but the high command will not tell us. Operators will not tell us. We literally have to take from books, but now we can't digest them all when the computer's all being jacked up by the government all the time. So we're just basically on our own again. But we'll probably do this thing. We'll build miniaturized starships, and then when we find an extraterrestrial population, we'll build them miniaturized starships too to depower and dethrone their own governments and create a more representative, equal society. This is what we're really doing, and it's got a lot of power, yielding the future of the universe. And if there's any derelict ships out there, we could teleport that metal aboard a mining ship and turn it into ingots and build our own junk. The only thing, we will honor graves and stuff. So people crashed and died. Either we'll give you a Christian burial and give you a headstone or whatever. We'll do that. We're not going to literally desecrate a constant a massive battlefield. We will probably find those people and bury them. So once we get rid of or once Russia capitulates and dies, we probably will take World War II veterans from Russia and bury them back in Germany or whatever. We'll still be looking forward to doing that. Once people what we're doing is getting people to respect other peoples, even human and extraterrestrials. We are all created equally and judged equally, but we might not live lives that are in total equality to one another because of the perseverance of criminal activity or higher society or whatever. We will be doing the best we can, the right thing we can. And basically, that's the subatomic revolution in a nutshell. We will probably mine those derelict vehicles. If there's dead bodies on it, we will probably bury them in a Christian burial. Jesus Christ is returning when the innumerable Christian seed people gets made. All right. And we've been looking for, which we know about the CIA altered the Bible. Before the CIA gassed and put everybody on mind control, they altered the King James Version of the Bible. So we're trying to figure out where they went to every house on planet Earth and literally altered them. They did. It's amazing. They literally went to every single room in the house with even plainclothes spy agents and put highly transparent plastic spy gear under the eyes under the skin of individuals and eye lenses, talking butt boils, speakers planted in the ass, a whole bunch of weird shit the CIA has done. So we're going to try to fix the Bible. We're going to have that to do. We're going to try to expose the operators of the high command so they stop being this elusive force that's running around. You're protecting us. You deserve to be called a hero. And you deserve to be more or less integrated into society. And we deserve to bring ourselves up to that technological standard and empowerment. Why we free mankind to the stars and create greater things that are good to the entire universe and create so much power, not through evil, tyrannical weapons, but the sheer mass of good people to level the playing field for all the citizens of the universe eventually. So you got thousands of things. You got hard mass exfoliated steel, computer structured steel that are structured steel that can exfoliate the space fabric out of it and basically make a preliminary shield. Then you got to control that and make it super dense. You got amalgamation reactors. You have a hard mass blob here, and they start teleporting forces back and forth, and they kind of go back like those metal balls. Then you create an amalgamation from that force teleportation, and you bleed it off to a little bit more controllable, you slow it down to it's thicker, controllable. It's just basically just engineering non-particle matter. So we got to get atomic level teleportation machining. We energize the base form matter, create a hard mass environment, create computer structure space fabric in the hard mass, start pulling the atoms out through the piece of metal, voiding that a circle inside of a block of steel reservoir for hard mass. We start making energized reactors into that hole we made. We create a controlled repository to hard mass, and bang, we got a preliminary advanced Starship industrial component. This will either make hard mass and keep it a reservoir for a single tool or a machining system or onboard a Starship, Star Trek, Star Wars Starship, anything. It's computer structured space fabric machine steel. A metal, we take the plastic, the polymer is a big giant molecular chain, has a lot of non-polar matter around it. And this is how this Sylvan Starship, the Dragonet Light attack craft, has this big polymer with this thing running to it that he's always working on. And it exfoliates space fabric through this polymer. And basically you get it to amalgamate or control the photons. That's how all these dang vehicles are literally highly invisible. They made them cloak themselves, which they don't really have to do anymore, unless they're fearing being shot down by other aliens and stuff. We don't know. I think the node network is on hold. I haven't detected any new transmissions or anything. Or they're trying to block my supercomputer from analyzing a node network. It's going too far. That's incredible when they just start fucking stopping it. You know you're out there. That's pretty cool. So what do they go? I'm gonna literally have to fix the entire globe through a Starship industry. Educate. So I have to start a Starship Industrial Academy to build the Starship. Then I gotta start a Starship Academy with people that can run it and crew it. You gotta build the Starship, then you gotta man the Starship. So we'll have that Starfleet going before humanity gets annihilated by God, maybe not. We'll be working on it. A Star Trek screen, all right? On the computer. Now, on the computer screens in Star Trek, all right, they have all these lines going everywhere. What that really possibly represents and correlates to is like the density of the non-particle matter, the flow of non-particle matter. When you compress the space fabric, it'll turn bright red. It'll energize these structures, these denser structures, and they'll be bright, but they'll bleed off into space fabric, creating teleportation forces. Teleportation forces are yellow. So eventually, this bright white to yellow will decay into something cooler. It's bright red. Compressed space fabric is usually bright red. When you vacuum the space fabric, it's bright blue. So you see the flows of non-particle matter, computer structured, densified vacuum space fabric, going through the computer screen on Star Trek. All right. So there is a God. All right, and he allows these individuals that create this masterful, wonderful piece of engineering or science fiction stuff. He allows them to get an inkling of what this thing really is, because they're all smashed and messed around with the power of Satan. So, so these people who drew this didn't know the entire picture of what is actually going on here. Only through your extreme relationship with God you can actually get to the answer. This would typically, most likely, represent the flows of non-particle matter through each individual component, either densified, vacuumed, or curtailed on the USS Enterprise or any Star Trek-like ship. That's extremely likely to occur. And you must, the reason why these lines, these flows of matter exist is because they're trying to allude to it. So typically, Carl Sagan, all right? Carl Sagan is typically displaying himself as wearing a tan jacket. This tan color is representative of the high command's forces on the ground, all right? They usually wear tan. I don't know if they're from well, they're probably stationed from a planet that is like a desert-like planet, all right? And they go back and forth to Earth, and they drop in and out. So they like wearing their tan. It's kind of like their combat fatigues. But this is reminiscent. This is all correlating in the high command structure. If they're on board a vehicle, it's kind of more like a Star Wars, Star Trek suit or something. I can't really make it out, but it's gray or black. But if they're on the ground, the high command's forces are usually wearing tan. And Carl Sagan is depicting himself as part or in association with the high command's forces to wear that tan. And in some of his videos, he talks about a cube. All right, this cube has a structure inside of it, and it's got hyperdimensionalized communications in it. And he's talking about that. But anyway, these people exist, and they're all part of this, and they're all basically under the same structure somehow. And it might be Alpha Centauri or something. Like there might be a desert planet near Alpha Centauri that has lights on it that they just kind of found on the internet. Their high command base may be out there. We don't exactly know, but we'll have to go there and find out. We don't know. And so in Silent Running, that music video, you see these lines come down. It's representative of steel, structured steel, a segmented steel, as forces go through the molecules and push out the non-particle matter. Their sound is basically, that's how they exfoliate the base raw matter out of a piece of steel. The steel is pretty much more or less segmented. Okay. This is what I was trying to get at. Predeposition. So, the question I have, that this high command structure and these elites, possibly some elites, not all of them, are predisposing society. They created like the lithium ion battery, the lithium ion phosphate batteries out of sheets, all right? You have really close packed sheets that have a charge in them. So they are possibly predeposition of society to this future reality that they already know about. So they make batteries like lithium ion phosphate battery, whatever, in sheets, right? They press all these little sheets together. I'm wondering if that is similar to the structured steel that allows for computer structured space to go through and exfoliate the base raw matter. I'm wondering if that is why they're making lithium ion batteries like that out of little sheets and stuff that they wrap around in a battery. So I see that correlation of a segmented steel. I see that correlation of the paper-like material, that the paper and the anode and cathode of the battery, of the lithium ion battery, or how that material, are they predisposing society into an exponential subatomic revolution that they're slowly getting people. Now, so the lithium ion batteries could possibly face a force charge from the side and eject non-particle matter out like a super weapon. They're predisposing the entire human race to this exponential subatomic revolution, is what my opinion is. And now you understand the correlation from a battery to a segmented piece of steel, like on a UFO, or a shield metal on the hull of a ship or something that's spoliated in the space fabric. You have force from this goes into the steel, pushes out the non-particle matter, they create the shield. And now, what's been going on for quite a while, they killed almond trees, they killed a lot of cocoa trees and other advanced trees. I'm wondering if they're predisposing the economy, like in flowering trees, seeding trees and stuff, to other Earth-like worlds. Are they dispensing the human's economy on planet Earth to these other Earth-like worlds, getting these trees? They kill the trees on planet Earth, right? Makes the price go up. And then they take the trees and grow them on another Earth-like world that humanity will be allowed to go to, and then buy coffee at the normal price, a lower price than today, less inflation. We gotta be being, if this is true, we gotta be being played by a fucking master plan somehow. And that's just kind of itching my brain, and it's very aggravating. Then I just kind of, hey, they must know where the other like worlds that humanity is going to go colonize, which they're going to keep the high command, and all these space societies are going to keep high total control over. Well, for one thing, I'm going to build a miniaturized starship and free the entire human race on planet Earth to outer space, and they're going to go everywhere. Their plans may still be in existence, but people are going to be 100% equal to them, and their people are going to have the same capacity for destruction. And the knowledge and wisdom of the subatomic realm is the individual exponential ability to thrive. All right? And so I don't know how the high command's plan, or their overwhelmingly plan, is going to be affected when I start freeing the world with a miniaturized starship. People you may have to go to another galaxy to find a brand new Earth-like world to freaking live on, because these people all locked it up in their little enclaves and secret societies and stuff. And or you just land on a new Earth-like world that's in this galaxy, and someone else owns it, and you could stay there, or you might be run off. Who knows? You don't know what games that these idiots are playing when they literally don't tell anybody anything. So you just got to go out there and find out for yourself what are they doing. And this blasters are all over the place. And well, it's kind of a pain. That's one thing. The miniaturized starship frees people from the tyranny of other people. Yep, That's what we're doing. Because because with hindsight, the exponential subatomic revolution is so powerful in individuals' hands. It is literally called the knowledge and wisdom of the subatomic realm is the individual exponential ability to thrive. So we're going to have every single human on Earth literally given a miniaturized starship and hard mass particle reactor for free. And then the IPO starts making the bigger assets, flying skyscrapers, houses, sells them, keeps a constant exponential expanding economy going. Teleportation drills, teleportation mining, get 500 million ore vessels to make. You go take your family on an ore vessel and go fly around and mine stuff and come back and sell it. Put 500 modules, 2 or 4 story modules on the moon and Mars, created preliminary space base for industrial applications. We will man this massive sprawling city with military personnel with hard mass, FDL, extremely human-made powerful cannons because we don't know everything. They're not really willing to tell us. They're not really willing to tell us at all. So we just got to plan for everything. We don't know how many empires there are. We don't know how many civilizations there are. We don't know how many space forces that can wreck everything. We believe some vehicles from the high command are actually shooting at stuff. And the CIA people are watching that. They're not doing anything about it. No, they can't. Because they can't fucking even hardly see the acts of sabotage or espionage or anything. So we don't know. They may just call it quits and destroy everything. We don't know. But our government is so goddamn fucking clueless and stupid that they can't be. Our government is so fucking willfully retarded about all these things. It's like we can't even hold them accountable if something happens because they're just like sock puppets. Stupid. Yeah. But anyway, so that your days should be brighter. You're getting the miniaturized starship, the exponential freedom of mankind. All the governments, secret societies just get like intestinal cancer or something and just shrivel up. And it's amazing that the miniaturized starship will have a life support system that can operate to the trillionth the scale of the subatomic particle. It'll teleport cancer, teleport bugs out of you, viruses, disease. It'll have all that. And you can go anywhere in the universe. You have mechanical, oxygen, water, teleportation, disposing of CO2, mechanically void space fabric, get that oxygen to your vessel or filter the air, farts, automatically clean the floor. It'll have all that. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really, really awesome. And there's just an infinity of things out there we'd like to go explore. So, presumably, they. I just got to have you to help Robertson and Price start a futures functions public and private starship industry. It's a $3 trillion IPO. It should make $2 trillion a day. Hard mass particle reactors, computer structure, space structure, steel, machining systems in the millions of dollars, atomic level teleportation, machining, the energy. Sorry, I have a speech impediment. The energization of the base raw matter, non-polar matter, computer control of every single photon out of laser, creating teleportation lasers, thousands of tons, pushing the limits to machining the space fabric, warping the space fabric, ripped space fabric lenses. Now, I can tell you that I got the United States government to make ripped space fabric lenses, right? The United States Congress gave this guy billions of dollars to make these lenses. This guy is supposed to be making lenses, rip-based iron lenses, I think. All right, I think. But the CIA will not give him the information to make the rip-based iron lenses. But I got that guy to build a castle, and that's the Castle of Pensmore. You figure that out. So the United States Congress is being blocked by the CIA that won't probably do the job and give that guy a rip-based fabric lens to manufacture, which they're. So, have you seen those videos from apparently a Mexican? So somebody in the CIA got a rip-based fabric lens made, or well, is made. He stole it, right? And then he sold it to this Mexican who's been putting videos like zooming in to planets and stuff. That's a rip-based fabric lens made by the CIA, I believe. And that's one that was stolen, which I really want it back. But in hindsight, I'm going to make millions of them and sell them to the public anyway, because I'm the man procuring all this rip-based fabric lens technology or get it made. And the United States Congress is literally giving this guy who built Pensmore $1 billion to make these lenses, but the CIA is not divulging to him or something. Something is wrong where the rip-based fabric lenses are not being made. They can rip apart the space fabric and see a long ways away, or so we need to like confess that it's like there's a major problem here from the CIA to that guy, the United States to that guy, and the CIA is allowing my stuff to be proliferated just to basic criminals and basic people and stuff, which is going to go public to rip-based fabric binoculars and stuff. The CIA is not properly divulging it to the civilian community of the world through my ownership or through my profiting of my property. I'm not a war profiteer. I'm the man who invented that, who got that made. It took 4 years for the CIA to make a rip-based fabric lens for the main rip-based fabric supercomputer. I cussed them out for 2, man. And every day, it's like the CIA holds you hostage, and then they allow criminal operations to transpire when they should be benefiting the American people. So I'm the person who got that guy to make Pensmore, that big French chateau, man. It's beautiful. I love it. He did a great job. He still hasn't exactly broken the law or anything. It's the United States government not getting, the United States Congress not getting what they are ordering, and the CIA apparently not giving to him the direction to how to make this lens, this rip-based fabric lens. So it's all fucked up. So the rip-based fabric lenses for binoculars and telescopes, they're all freaking on back order because of this nightmare control, manipulation, and loss of property inside the CIA. It's a nightmare. It's like 6 years behind schedule because of just incompetence and stupidity. You got 6 years. We could add rip-based lenses and see these vehicles. We'll have to have executive orders to get. Donald Trump will have to make executive orders to manufacture the rip-based lens for the civilian community, aka the military, and all that other stuff. Clandestine operators and yes, and right now I can see through the picture. Go spider. So Van and Perry had an accident in their Fafnir, their Dragonet light attack vehicle, or something like kind of messed up, blew up. And they called somebody with a stealth communication, and this guy, this special operator, who's a human, he wears a suit. He comes down to help them, just like a fucking guy in a tow truck. He comes and helps work on their freaking ship. It's just the craziest thing. Like, what is this? I keep calling this Empire, Chaldean Empire. But there's a network of these freaking people and humans all over space, totally invisible. Won't ever expose themselves to actual normal people on planet Earth. It's fucking incredible. They just, what happens if your starship breaks down? You can either call one of these guys and they'll come to you and help you, or you'll be waiting for quite a while until we build a quick reaction force to come help you to do the same thing that guy's doing for the Peacemaker Guild or whatever the heck it is. It's insane. It's just going, it's just insane. Oh, I was taking a taxi to, we like build a levitating faster than light FTL taxi from New York to one of these stations. Oh, the thing broke down. Call for help. We got a hard mass particle corrector on the oxygen water support so we can breathe indefinitely. Just waiting on the guy to come and help us. They call through a rip base. So you got hard mass communication, communicating from A to B through blobs and densified structures of non-particle matter. Blobs and forces running through the base matter. You got a rip space fabric communication. You rip apart the space fabric and hyper-dimensional hyper forces go through this void trillions and trillions of times speed light. In and out of the galaxy. I know that will communicate in one galaxy to another. Easy. And then you got a prescience connection. Just press on the space fabric, puts a load, directly inject that into the mind, and there's 3 or 4 ways to communicate in space. Then you got these ultra stealth engineered signals that they're using that we can barely pick up. We don't hear the conversation. We just know it happened. And it's crazy. It's awesome. Man, the military would freaking jump for joy when they get a phone like that capable. Pick up extraterrestrial starship communications. Holy shit. Working on extraterrestrial microchips and bugs that are supercycling the forces through the base world matter, communicating more than a data center. Oh my god. Coming up to their level. We're just riding their coattails. It's the funniest thing ever. Like, holy shit. Yeah. And we're exposing to everybody because everybody's got a right to know. And they just like, my God, you have undeniable rights from the God that created the whole universe. Do these operators even know that the God who created the entire universe is in Jeremiah's grotto right now? The first ark they made represented the people that went to heaven. All right, it went up straight to heaven and is in heaven this very day. And this is how your ancestors who are dead can hear you talking. The second ark that they made went and it was put in. They made a second ark. Then the Heavenly Father came down inside of this ark, and then he's put in Jeremiah's grotto in Israel, in Jerusalem, for this very hour, minute, and day. He created the entire universe, and he's just been there forever until the rebirth of the nation of Israel, until Jesus Christ comes back and fixes everything. The God that created the entire universe is on this earth, is in Jeremiah's grotto the whole time. He's never left it. But he is in, the Heavenly Father is in Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit's in him. So Jesus Christ is, just has it all. All power and all glory are invested in Jesus Christ forever and ever. So we can't seek glory. We can't have that, or literally any pride. It all belongs to Jesus Christ, who's the Savior of the universe, Savior of all things. The preserver of all things. He's the good. The man made literally of love itself. Alright, I'm going to have to stop, but do they really know the truth about everything? Do you really know? Alright, I'm going to stop this.